What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about which Xbox games have the best chance of being at the Game Awards. So instead of making like 5 or 6 different videos for the different Xbox games I kind of am thinking of in my head, I kind of want to rapid fire through a couple of ones that I think stand a chance or maybe don't stand a chance and talk about them. And I can definitely do the same thing, for PlayStation or something. I kind of did WB games all individually, but I'm thinking Xbox and PlayStation, I'll probably just sum up in a video. So let's talk about a couple. I really, the first one that always jumps to mind with me, which is maybe not the one that jumps to mind with other people, is Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 was obviously announced at the Game Awards, right? We knew it was announced 2 years ago back with the Series X, which was a pretty big, announcement for Jeff Keighley. And Hellblade has always kind of been around on the internet, Hellblade 2, but it's also kind of, it's actually both. It's been very, very quiet and secretive in terms of the game, and at the same time, it's also very loud. In terms of a lot of the behind-the-scenes, filming, a lot of the technology stuff, I think the game is going to be phenomenal. I love the first one, and, I think it's going to do some really cool things with the second one. I feel like it's been long enough. I personally was kind of confused by it at first, because it's like, okay, you announce it, and then it's I guess what we know now, right? It was nowhere near close to being done. In fact, even right now, you could argue it's not close. I don't know when the ETA on Hellblade 2 is, but I feel like this is not a game we're probably going to get in 2022, maybe at the very end, if not 2023. With that being said, right, as we know, and I'll probably say this each game in this video, Jeff Keighley has talked about games in 2022 and games in 2023. So it doesn't just have to release the first 4 or 5 months of next year. It can release later than that. So I really feel like it's been long enough. It's a highly anticipated game. There's obviously no shortage of Xbox games to be here, but I think mainly even because of the link between the Game Awards announcing it for the very first time and it's been enough years. It's been 2 years since that. I feel like it's got a pretty solid chance. You got a game like Redfall, which is another one that stands out to me because that's probably, you have Stalker 2, right? We know that. I think that game comes out in April or maybe March. You have that, but Redfall is probably the next one, which is actually shocking, right? Because it was announced this past E3, but it really seems like the one, to come out almost immediately, probably in the middle-ish of this upcoming year. I don't know if you would show. I feel like something like Hellblade, even though I would say Redfall is maybe going to be bigger than it, I feel like Hellblade just kind of stands out more than maybe Redfall does. So I would put Redfall probably at a lesser shot, even though maybe it's got a higher chance because it's releasing so soon. They could, of course, attach a release date to it, which I think would be really, really cool. And I'd obviously I'm not a fan of the alpha footage and pictures that was shown of the game, but I was a fan of the trailer generally, with a couple exceptions. But overall, I'm definitely excited for it. So I would say out of the two, Hellblade probably has my vote of confidence, whereas Redfall maybe doesn't. Starfield is obviously one that pops out immediately to me, where I think Starfield, you got a lot, and you also have very little, which I think in the same way, probably just because of the release date, right? Because the release date's a pretty big thing. I don't know. Starfield's on the list. This is maybe an important thing, maybe it's not. In terms of the most anticipated games, the category for the Game Awards, Starfield is on there. I don't know. Actually, I don't really know this for any of them. I don't know if a game that's on that list should be or would be in the show separate from it. I almost feel, and again, this is just my speculation, I almost feel like that's some sort of you're messing with it. You're hijacking it in a way where it's do you show something for God of War and give the release date, but it's on a thing for most anticipated. So does that taint it? I personally don't really think it does, mainly because I don't care about any of the awards or any of the winners, but maybe we do know, Jeff Keighley has dropped the hints enough, the companies do care, and they also care about not having it be a one-dimensional show. Sony cares if there's a lot of Xbox stuff shown there. They get actually pretty mad at that. So we do know that kind of pettiness, which I would say that is kind of pettiness, that does happen. So that you have to keep that in mind. I don't know if any game that's on the most, I don't know if any game that has a nomination would be a thing that they show separate, which would Horizon, God of War, those were the PlayStation ones. Starfield was one for Microsoft. Elden Ring, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2 was the final one for Nintendo. So we'll have to see. But I would say for Starfield, it's tough because I really think what's next would be some sort of gameplay thing, long gameplay thing, just because open world, I don't know, the amount of hype and hope that this game has, that it can be this, this Fallout, Elder Scrolls, but in space kind of idea, which obviously is basically what it is. But I think you convey that to people by showing like a mission or some sort of systems thing, some sort of like walkthrough. And I don't think you really get that at the Game Awards. The only other one that really sticks out to me, so I'm going to cap it here at 4, is Fable. So Fable's one, and there's others. There's like a lot of others in terms of Microsoft games that are going to release over the next, say, 3 years. They got like 10 to 15 of them. But, I think Fable is one that stands out because it's been a little while since we've seen it. I feel like this would, out of the group, and I would say this over Hellblade, this would be this would be controversial, but I would say this would maybe be a bigger splash than Starfield, only because it'd be the first real look at it, right? That first look we got of Fable was good, and I'm excited that it's back, and I want them to return to form with that game. But, Starfield's got the release date, technically has like 2 trailers or like a trailer and a half, whereas Fable really doesn't have like next to anything. So I feel like this would be that big, if they're looking for this, that big Microsoft thing. If you go to Sony and you say, okay, what's your big announcement you want to show at the Game Awards? Maybe it's a Metal Gear remake or whatever. And then for Xbox, it's okay, you want to show Fable as a trailer, as a 2-3 minute long thing. Because what we know about Fable, correct me if I'm wrong, is that like 2023 it's not that far away. You know what I mean? It's I don't know how much they can show now or how much they have to show, but I really don't think we're going to have to wait, less than 2 years at this point, right? So hopefully, because of that, you could show, there's been other games that have shown trailers 1, 2, 3 years out. So I think Fable stands a chance. And again, I think it would be that big drop. You leave the Game Awards and you say, okay, what were the top 3 to 5 things? Last year, it'd say like Mass Effect, right? You could come up with a couple big things they announced. That would be one of those 3 to 5. What was a big thing? Oh, they announced. Let's say that I actually just walked myself into the wrong thing, right? They didn't announce Fable, but we got a really nice look, something that we haven't had before. We got a more in-depth look through a brand new trailer for Fable. So I would say Fable would be the highest, but I think Fable would be the biggest splash. Hellblade, I think, makes the most sense and is probably like the safest bet for the core Microsoft games. But of course, maybe I'm just flat out forgetting some that are releasing sooner. I know there's others in general, but those were the kind of the 4 I wanted to focus on. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which Xbox games do you think will appear, if any, at the Game Awards? Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, so you know all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, I have a Twitter, I have a second channel. We also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links are in the description. And final thing, I will be co-streaming the Game Awards. So, I've been making tons of videos on it. I will continue. And then on December 9th, we'll be co-streaming it on the channel. Would love to have you guys there. And we'll talk about it. We'll promote it a little bit more as we get closer, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.